When you pick the heavy, you think you're going to be the most unkillable class on the map. You think you're picking the tankiest, most powerful class in the game. But what if you weren't?
Hey, Vsauce! Michael here.
So, today we're going to talk about the heavy and why I think he is a bad class. Because on paper, he sounds like a really good idea. A slow, fat man with a lot of health and a big gun to just mow down enemies with. But this is entirely different to what the heavy can actually be like.
I am heavy weapons guy.
Mobility is an important thing in any game, but even more so in FPS games like Team Fortress 2. The heavy really struggles to keep up and outposition his opponents. Heavy has a base movement speed of 77%. To put that into comparison, the Scout has 133%, and the Engineer has a movement speed of 100%. Although the heavy can increase his movement speed significantly by equipping the gloves with running urgently and other side grades. But don't get me wrong, heavy is a powerhouse of a class. It can really turn the tide of a fight, as well as decimate hordes of enemies on his own. But sometimes, just getting to the front lines is the real struggle. A low movement speed means you spend more time running to the front lines, which makes playing heavy boring to some players. And if you don't use the one item that drains your health down to 100, you're a suboptimal heavy. But moving slow also means less options for retreat. Once you're at low health, you have no way out. While a scout could run, or a spy could try and slip away, the heavy can't do any of this. He can't even surf rockets because of his knockback resistance.
And this young man is how Heavy learned he was bad at Team Fortress.
But it's this lack of mobility that makes him especially weak to two of TF2's classes.
Prepare for trouble!
Make it double!
Personally, I cannot stand being backstabbed. Whenever I get backstabbed, the only two thoughts that pop into my head are either leave the server or go pyro. It's the unfortunate circumstance that he's this powerhouse of a class, but it's balanced by the effect that you have on the game having the potential to be ripped from your hands. And if you think Sniper is any better, you are entirely mistaken. It doesn't matter how much health you have, you can be gone in just one shot, even with overheal. By both of these classes from anywhere at any time. It's going to happen a lot. Although this class might look like a powerhouse, it's actually just an invitation to have spies and snipers bully you for the whole game. While we're on the topic of balance, casual heavy is a extremely different experience from competitive heavy. In a casual server, you are more likely to dominate the enemy team, to stomp them by pushing the card or take damage on the point. Hell, flanking his heavy is even an option. But in competitive Highlander, you will be put in an unfortunate circumstance of playing against a decent spy and a decent sniper. One of my favorite tricks as spy is to backstab the heavy and then go and gun down the medic. The heavy is the primary target. See, if overhealed has 450 health points. And if a spy or a sniper can take that down, that's 450 points of damage your team just doesn't have to do. And for most players, spending half the match as the strongest class in the game, cowering in a corner because of some French weave or fake Australian, just isn't fun to them. It's not really an enjoyable experience for most players, but there are some mad lads out there that do it anyway, and they have my respect. In short, Spy has counterplay against the Pyro, Engineers have tactics to kill spies, even medics have tricks up their sleeves to get out of situations. But how can you counter a bullet in the head without cowering in a corner? Or a knife in the back without looking behind you every 3 seconds? You're the biggest, slowest class in the game. Sniper's gonna take advantage of that, and spies will take advantage of you when you're shooting. Now, I can go on all day about what makes heavy a bad class. But how can we solve this problem? The answer is actually closer than you might think. Heavy needs his teammate. A pyro can reflect deadly rockets, and spy check for spies. A soldier can bomb the enemy and distract them while you just focus on dealing that sweet DPS. A scout will save your butter from other scouts, and a sniper will do his best to counter the enemy sniper. I don't know if there's any other class besides medic that relies more on his teammates than the heavy. As much as you're the big Russian boy that ties your team together, they are also the backbone of your KD ratio. Because of his large health pool, heavy is really good at defending his teammates, so make sure to stick around your medics, demos, and pyros to help support them. And with that being said, now we can start getting into heavy's loadouts. Unfortunately though, most of heavy's weapons just aren't viable to use. For his miniguns, everything except stock or the Tomislav are basically a downgrade. The Brass Beast, I guess, can be used in some situations. I guess. The Hulong Heater, though, doesn't even do its job. You can jump over the Ring of Fire just to backstab you. It really isn't a good weapon. And the Natasha should only really be brought up against Demo Knights or Scouts. And for his secondaries, you won't want to use the shotgun or the family business unless you're fat scouting, because the minigun is just such a far better source of damage, so basically, you're only going to want to bring in a food item. 9 times out of 10, that food item is going to be the second banana or the sandwich, because the other food items just aren't really that good. Now, Heavy's melees is one of my favorite parts about Heavy. It's where he can finally get some utility. The running gloves of Urgently are by far the most popular choice for all heavy mains. But even the killing gloves of boxing can be good. If you kill someone with it, you get 5 seconds of crits, which can wipe out a good chunk of the enemy team. The eviction notice, unfortunately, has now become a basically worse version of the gloves are running urgently, which is really sad to see. And I don't really see this used very often anymore. But then there's the Fist of Steel. While it doesn't give you a speed boost, it gives you a damage resistance to all melee sources. But you take more damage from melee, which I hope you would take it off and not use it in melee combat. But this makes it a very safe item to roll out with. But the Warrior Spirit, now this weapon is just bad. Like, I don't really have anything to say about it. It's just bad. You can't even say it's good. Like, I don't know. It's just a bad weapon. But the Holiday Punch, which is mainly used by Hoovies, can actually be used for some good utility in certain areas, especially when you need to shut down enemy push when they're pushing with Uber. I think for Heavy's loadout, there's a few upgrades that definitely should be made. He's definitely lacking in some core areas to make him unfun for a lot of players. Being able to be headshot from anywhere on the map is a problem every class feels. The Heavy, he gets it the most because he's the slowest and biggest. Because of his large health pool, he's also a huge target for spies. His loadouts, half of his items aren't even really useful. But with all that being said, I'm glad Heavy came from Team Fortress 2. He's one of the most iconic characters in video games. And TF2 just wouldn't be the same without him. Hey guys, I hope you liked the video. If you did, consider dropping a like and maybe even subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. I'm also streaming over on Twitch at HandToastyTTV. If you can hop over there and drop a follow, that would really help out my Twitch channel. I'm trying to get it off the ground. And maybe, if you have the money to spare, maybe even drop a subscription or a donation. That would really help me out. Now, the video is over. You can leave now. You can go. No, really, it's over. There's nothing left. That's it. Yeah, I got nothing for you.